put that into a wheel, and that wheel is going to choose names of people in different group discussion answer questions. Would you mind?
Oh, that's fine. It's just that I can't get my video to work. So if it's not necessary for me to have my video on,
I just need your voice, as long as you can see the names on that side. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that one, and then I'm going to share my wheel. Okay. So do you mind calling the names for me, please? Let's go.
Okay, so we have
okay.
Okay, so that's Opeta. So I definitely won't call myself. So
just one name, the first name.
Sule Onoja.
Yep.
Then Ibs and Dario.
Darius.
Then Chinese.
Yeah, the next one is
okay, Chinese.
Chinese.
Then Eunice.
Chinese. Did I get that correct? Chinese, yeah.
Then Eunice.
Eunice.
Grace.
Yep. Grace.
PA.
Yep.
Yakubu.
She called her name, but forgotten.
I'm not sure if it was Peace.
Yep.
Or not. So we have somebody at Lenovo Tab M10, please. Who is the person that we have?
Okay, I'm just going to write it like that. Lenovo.
Okay, yep. We have Blessing and Tammy.
Okay. So I think I have about 12 names. So once the names pick the name, I'm going to remove it. Okay, so let's go.
Auntie, you wrote my name twice.
I wrote your name twice. What name is that, please tell me? Is it Eunice? Oh yes, okay, I'll take it. Okay. Sorry about that. Yay! And you're the next. Hallelujah. Okay, next. Okay, awesome. Okay, and one more. Yeah, okay, I have 3 questions. Okay, for 12 people, I have 3 in it. Okay, one more. Yeah, one more. Yay. Okay. So now we have names. So Blessing, Eunice, PA, or Nojam. Now I'm going to reshare my screen and show you your questions. Now you have only 60 seconds. You have 60 seconds. I've picked your name as random. You're having an open group discussion, and I'm setting my timer right away. 60 seconds to answer the question. Are you ready now? Okay. You need to unmute yourselves, please. You need to unmute yourselves. Now you have a scenario, you and your best friend both got a job at a Dame clothing store. Of course, you're a fabulous worker and with good work ethic, always being polite to the manager and customers, and your friend, not so much. She has a tendency to slack off, leaving you to do her work as well as yours. How would you address this issue? Now, I want to establish a thinking pattern. We have 1 minute. Ready? Please unmute yourself immediately. I wish there was a way to show you the timer. Okay.
Sorry, how would I do what? Sorry, how would I? Like, I didn't.
How would you address the issue? Yeah, I'm just in the background. I won't say anything.
Well, the first thing I would do is to have a conversation about any situation going on. So it's being politely confrontational. And once we are the same page, Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So once we're in the
Just
same.
give chance for other people to also be
Oh,
fast.
okay. I thought it was sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have a conversation with her first, and if I see that she's not changing or she's not trying to adjust, I'll have to talk to the manager.
Okay. Yeah. The other people in the group in anything, Brother Onoja. Yes, who else?
Yeah, sorry, the tax was not really clear, but
Yeah.
I think I'm going to
Can you see
just.
can you see my screen? Because I'm sharing the question.
Oh, okay. We can see the question just now.
Yeah, just like the first two ladies said, I think I'll have a one-on-one conversation with the person and yeah, try to get to the root cause of the problem before I'll decide what to do, whether to take it up or to just end it there.
Okay. I think one more person hasn't spoken.
Yes, so I will have a conversation with the person, and then if she doesn't give a satisfying answer, then I'll take it up to the manager.
Okay. Is that all? I'm writing the answers. To make this easy, please just could you say your name first before speaking so that I'll know who is speaking, please.
Oh,
Eunice.
Okay.
Yes, so I said I will have a conversation with the person, and then if she doesn't give a satisfying answer, then we have to talk to the manager.
Okay. Okay, I think everyone has spoken now. That was pretty fast. You spent just less than a minute. Oh, did you know you guys spent 3 minutes? Hold on a minute. Okay, hold on. I think my timer is not properly set. Okay. So thank you very much for that. The next set. Are you ready? Okay. I'll go in again. For Darius. Let me try to be very fast. Statemi.
What screen are you doing? You sure?
Oh, okay. Yay, Grace. Okay. So I've got brothers, Sister Temi, Sister Okwe, and Sister Grace. Your next question is this. Oh, sorry, I don't think, did I share that? I didn't share it. Sorry, apologies. Question 2, please, can you see my screen?
Yes, but
You share the first question. Okay, fine.
Here's your question. You are the manager of a fast food restaurant, and you've noticed that every time an employee his friend comes in for meal. Watching the employee, you find that they are subtly giving their friend extra unpaid food items such as drinks, that fries, and etc. While this is in clear violation of the company policy, you opt to give the employee a verbal warning against instead of immediate termination. So how would you think the employee will react? That's question 1. And what else do you think the manager could have done to that employee? Now you have 1 minute. The last time I think I made a mistake. I set it to 3 minutes instead of 1. You have 1 minute. Your time starts now, please. You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, for me, Ibsen Darius from here.
Okay.
The employee will do the first option, option A, plead with the manager to forgive him.
Okay.
And what else could the manager have done to the employee? Of course, the statement in the first place has already stated that while this is clear violation of the company policy, you opt to give the employee a verbal warning. So he will give him a verbal warning. Strictly giving him a
Okay.
warning that
Next slide.
if he continues, he is going to be sacked. If he
Okay.
repeats that, I mean.
Okay, hi, this is Temi.
Okay,
here.
next person.
Temi, I'll go with option
Okay.
A. He should plead with the manager to forgive him, and the manager should hear him out. Actually, depends on how the employee reacts, that the manager will know the next line of action.
Okay.
So,
Sister Okwe.
I'll also go with option A for the employee
That was
to plead
that
with the
the minute.
manager
Okay.
to forgive him. And then as the manager,
Volume.
if I am the manager, as much as I would forgive the person, I might charge him for that meal for that day. So it's actually sent home that warning.
Yeah.
Charge him for that meal. Okay.
Yeah.
Grace.
Okay. Well, the employee could actually do a lot of things depending on the person's disposition. But because of the question saying giving a verbal warning, the person's reaction would determine, like Statemi said, what would be the next action. And best thing to do is to be sure that the person understands the outcome of such, like what the company policy says, and then follow through with the person's action. If you please for forgiveness, follow the company policy and all that, because as a manager too, your own job is at stake. So you have to make sure that everything is clear, and then you don't want somebody else to repeat the same thing in the company. So I think that's what I would do.
Perfect. Now that leaves us with Sister Chineze Brakubu and the person whose name shows Lenovo. And it looks like we are more than 14 now. So I don't know who are the new people who joined in just now. Let me see if I can spot the name. No, I can't see the name. Sorry about that. So your last question is
I
this.
can help you with some of the names. So MM is one of them. And then we have, okay, I think it's just MM.
I'm Kabari.
Just, okay.
And Sister Priscilla Yaku.
Okay, Kabari is Lenovo.
Sorry,
Lenovo
I'm using my
Kabari.
son's.
Kabari, yes. Okay, so we're left with Bro Yakubu, Sister Chineze, Sister MM, and Sister Kabari. Now the last question is this. Now you have just 1 minute. We're rounding this up. Scenario 3 says, within a semester, your university president is making a decision and have historically been under the academic senate purview and therefore warrants involvement of the academic senate. When you attempt to talk with her about these matters, she asserts that as president, she has the right to make these decisions without discussing it with you as Senate president. Using emotional intelligence, how would you handle this situation? And what would you now do to help develop a healthy relationship built mutual respect and trust? You have 1 minute. Who is speaking first?
I was just going to ask for some clarity. Who am I in this scenario?
You are the
Senate.
Okay, who is Mr. Yon? You are speaking with the university president. You are not the university president.
You are the Senate president, Brother Yakubu.
You are the Senate president. Yeah.
Okay, academic senate. It's not so clear. The university president.
I think this is the hardest, and thank God I left it for the professors and the PhDs.
No, not exactly. I'm just trying to, it's difficult for me to. I think Okwe understands this question. Maybe she can help us to understand it. I'm just trying to get my relationship with the other person. You know?
Okay, so you are the Senate president, and there was this university president, and she's taking a major decision. And normally, such decisions are always brought before the Senate to handle. And now you are asking her, why are you not bringing it before the Senate? And she said she has the power, the jurisdiction to take such decision. So the question now is, make the decision without consulting the Senate.
So me as Senate president, am I a student as well? The university president is a student. That's student union government. Am I right?
Student union, yes.
I think it depends. I'm definitely gonna. I think Chinese has something there.
No, I just have a question because I do understand the line of authority. You know, when you say university president, Senate
your time is up. Sorry, but I will explain the question. So you are all like Senate. Okay, let me change the name now. Let's say president and vice president. You have to go meet the VC, for example, and the president is trying to let you know that the major decision that should be taken. I won't tell you. I'll just go straight to the vice chancellor to discuss the matter of the student with him without letting you know. So how would you handle the situation? And ideally, you and your partner is supposed to come together, talk about these issues before going to the Senate. Do you understand the question that way?
Yeah, it's clear now.
Okay, so can I give 30 seconds to just say something about it, please?
I think we can give them.
All right. What I would say is, I'll look at what it is, the decision he has made. If it is good, I won't mind that I wasn't consulted, in as much as it's for the good of all. But if I have any reason to go against it, the fact that I was not consulted, I will double my reason and I will make sure I antagonize it with all I can.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other person saying anything?
I think what I would do is try to consult another colleague to see how we can table the matter with the university president. And regardless of whatever decision the president has made, line of what's it called, protocol should be followed. So I think I'll consult with a colleague and see how we can move forward.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for participating in this short quiz. So it was such a short time to understand the question, interpret it, and then give your own explanation. Well, I believe our speaker today is going to do justice everything to know about emotional intelligence and how to make these good decisions. Okay, so our speaker today is no other person than Dr. Mrs. Udo Alade. She has been involved in different lines of academics, nutrition, energetics, animal behavior, obesity, etc. She's an educator with over 9 years professional teaching experience in the higher education. She's a researcher skilled in different areas of sciences. She's an academic mentor, and she's committed to inspiring confidence and providing tools for achieving academic success. She's a writing coach as well, and she provides a lot of different consultations. So, I mean, I think we have the best person to talk about emotional intelligence today. So join me as I welcome Dr. Mrs. Udo Alade.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Branoja, where's my music? There's a particular music I asked Branoja to play for us.
She was supposed to just press next.
Okay.
Press next on the same slide. Oh. Now she's doing it. Should I share my screen?
Anything you want to do, just give us the music. I just want a little music to raise the vibration.
Okay.
Okay. Well, if we don't have the music, we will start. Okay, if we don't have the music now, I'll start and maybe in between. I just wanted the music. But it's really a pleasure to be with us this afternoon. And I'm happy. I hope we are all excited to be here. I'm excited to be sharing with us, and I really appreciate your presence. I appreciate your being here. And please, I would like to share my screen. I see that I'm not able to share my screen from here. Please.
Try it now.
Okay. I should try it now, okay. Okay. Can you see my screen from here?
Yes, we can.
Branoja, please, my music. Don't forget it. So yes, good afternoon, everybody. I'm very excited to be with us, and I'm really happy to be speaking with us today about emotional intelligence. And as I've been introduced, my name is Udalade, and it's animal physiology, not animal psychology. So I have a PhD in zoology, and my work was focused on energetics, looking at the animal behavioral and physiological responses to calorie restriction. But today I'm not here to talk about calorie restriction. I'm not here to talk about obesity. I'm here to talk about emotional intelligence. And you know, the most interesting part is that, to me, the greatest resource on emotional intelligence is actually the Bible. You've got so much information in the Bible about emotional intelligence, whether you're talking about scriptural injunctions, whether you just go to the book of Proverbs alone, or whether you are looking at lifestyles, you look at character, Bible characters. There is so much in scriptures about emotional intelligence. But let me just share this scripture with us. In Galatians chapter 5, verse 22, scripture says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, is joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. There is no law against love. There's no law in any way in the world. There's no law against peace. There's no law against patience. There's no law against self-control. There's no law against gentleness. There's no law against goodness. You see, these are the fruits of the Spirit. And I can't think of anybody expressing these fruits, expressing this characteristic, who will not be termed an emotionally intelligent person. So let me start with one or two stories. And our moderator has set the pace with the scenario she painted. And I'll just share one or two other scenarios, and we'll kind of have a feel of where emotional intelligence comes to play. I'll talk about Kyle. Kyle is a very brilliant young man. He had a first class in his undergraduate studies, and when he went back for his master's, because he's so brilliant, you know, his colleagues felt, well, you should be our class rep. You'll be able to represent us very well. You'll be able to represent us properly. And you know, as a class rep, he's to represent the students, his colleagues before the lecturers, and is also to represent the lecturers before the students. And in one of Kyle's interactions with a fellow student, a lecturer had given an assignment, and a fellow student who was an international student reached out to Kyle on the personal WhatsApp platform and was like, Kyle, please, I didn't really quite get what the lecturer wanted. How are we supposed to do this group work? How do I connect with my group and all that? And was asking Kyle questions. And Kyle responded to the student, I'm not your mother, I'm not your father, you're an adult, you should be able to deal with it. And I'm not supposed to be telling you all that. And then Kyle takes the conversation, the person reached out to him in the private space and then posted it in the general group. And you can imagine the conflict of emotions and everything that came out of it, considering that Kyle was a local student and while the other student was international. So you could imagine what came out of them. And now let's also take the case of Dan. Dan is a brilliant businessman. He's made, lots of wealth negotiations. He's brilliant. He has properties. He has so many things around. And because of that, he decides to go into elections and he contests for elections. He becomes, one of the number one person in his country. And people look up to Dan, but Dan is somebody who cannot, manage his emotions. He can't stomach insults. And once there is a little, quarrel or a little disagreement with Dan, the next thing he fires the person. And so before you know it, in Dan's cabinet, you're having so many people, having to leave, his personal aide, different secretaries, different ministers. And before you know it, even the people who are people of the same party with Dan are not able to, to even defend his actions any longer. And Dan would go to the internet, will go to everywhere and, to leave out his emotions. Unfortunately for Dan, he could not keep up with his, political ambition just because no matter how brilliant he was as a businessman, he was not able to handle his emotions. Now, I'll leave the story of Kyle, I'll leave the story of Dan, and I want us to look at ourselves. We are here today. We all are aware of intelligence. Anytime we think of intelligence, we think of IQ, we think about our cognitive abilities, our ability to think, our ability to learn from experience, our ability to solve problems, our ability to use knowledge to adapt to new experiences. We're always thinking about that. And IQ is great. IQ is great. It gives you that leverage. It takes your legs, it brings your feet to the door. But when you have equally brilliant people, when you have you and your colleagues at the University of Aberdeen or at the Robert Gordon University, or you are in Cambridge, or you are in Oxford, or in Harvard, all of you equally brilliant, or at least, not varying in brilliance, what is going to distinguish you? What is going to set you apart? What will set you apart is your emotional intelligence. Your technical skills are great, it's excellent, but is your emotional intelligence, your ability to handle your own emotions, your ability to understand your own emotions, and your ability to deal, interpersonal relationships with others. That is what will set you apart. And even in the business world, it's been said that your technical skills can only take you so far, possibly to middle management. But as you go up the ladder, climb the ladder in managerial roles, EQ is the separator. In fact, it is said that emotional intelligence, bosses who show high level of emotional intelligence, who create a positive atmosphere for interaction and in their workplaces, are seen as competent even by their subordinates. But for those who are brash, they're just brash, harsh, it is either my way or the highway. No matter how brilliant they are, people feel like they don't know what they are doing and they're not able to gather people to achieve their goals. So that's where emotional intelligence comes out. And besides that, you see, intelligence is not fixed. The psychologists, they have so many studies. I know obviously today it's not a psychology class, but the psychologists, they have so many theories of intelligence. And one of the psychologists, Howard Gardner, talked about the principle or the concept of multiple intelligence. And it's like, look, intelligence is not a fixed construct. It's not just one thing that is just said, you know, just the G factor just said, and is fixed at birth. And, you know, if you're just having a high IQ or someone that has a low IQ, that is it is fixed. No, he talks about the concept of multiple intelligence that also takes into account cultural context. And it looks at, you know, some people are word smart. You know, they have verbal linguistic skills and abilities. Some people are, you know, logical smart. They have logical mathematical abilities. Some people are nature smart. Some people are self-smart. Those are intrapersonal skills. Some people are picture smart. They have visual, spatial skills, hand-eye coordination. Some people are musically smart. Some people are also body smart. And so you can see different concepts, and he sees all this as potentials that can be improved upon. So he talks about the concept of multiple intelligences. And when you look at Howard Gardner's classification, you look at intrapersonal, look at interpersonal skills. That is the ambit, the angle from where emotional intelligence will come about. And so when we say emotional intelligence now, basically we are talking about the intelligent use of our emotions. The intelligent use of our emotions. And as I've presented it here by the Mayer and Salovey model, they look at emotions as the ability to perceive, ability to understand, ability to manage, and ability to use emotions, and the intelligent use of our emotions. And when we look at perceiving, perception, it deals with how we recognizing how you are feeling, recognizing how others are feeling, your ability to read facial expressions. When you talk about using, you strategically use emotions to facilitate adaptive reasoning, to facilitate problem solving, to facilitate creativity. You create a culture, a culture of positivity in your team, in your unit where you are leading, in your group. You have a group assignment as students, and you are the group leader, or even you're not the group leader, you are a team member. You're able to use emotions to facilitate adaptive reasoning, problem solving, creativity. We talk about understanding. We know that emotions are complex. Emotions are not just, they're complex. So you look at the complexity of emotion. You look at the why behind the emotion. You look at the causes of the emotions. And not only that, you're able to, with your knowledge of perception of what you have perceived in emotion, you're able to predict how the emotion will change over time. Looking at the way things are going, how can I prevent things from escalating? How can I de-escalate tension? So you understand. And then you're able to manage. Those are, you're able to respond appropriately. You're able to use that knowledge you have about your emotion to manage yourself, to manage outbursts, to calm fears, to show care, to show understanding. So when we talk about managing emotions, at the end of the day, it all comes down to your behavior. Because, our emotions, our thoughts, our decisions, our behavior, everything is linked together. You cannot chuck your emotion out the door and say, oh, I'm a rational being. I don't care what people say. I don't care what people feel. No, you've got to be able to manage your emotions, to be able to regulate your emotions. So that model, perception, using and understanding our emotions, that is what emotional intelligence is about. Now, why is this emotional intelligence so important? I mean, what's the big deal? So what? As I said earlier, our emotions, our thoughts, our decisions, they are connected. And for career progression, you need emotional intelligence. Your technical skills can only take you so far. They are your domain skills, they are the entry point. You need emotional intelligence for successful leadership. If not, people will sabotage your leadership no matter how good you are. If you're not able to rally people, if you're not able to make people feel, see your authenticity or foster trustworthiness in people, your leadership will be sabotaged. Get things done. You need emotional intelligence for your own mental health. If not, you're just going to be under stress, climate of conflict, climate of just a climate of, I don't know, there's I don't know if some of us have experienced this. You are doing a job together with people. there's no big deal in the job. It's not like the job is really hard. But what's happening is that the tension is just too much. So at the end of the day, you are so stressed, not from the difficulty of the job, but because of the psychological climate around it. So if we don't work on these things, our mental health can suffer. When you have, when you boost your emotional intelligence, you have an improved quality of life. Happiness, overall happiness, your relationships with our children, with our husbands or wives or significant others, with our friends, with our bosses, with our colleagues, we have better relationships. And interestingly, emotional intelligence is shown to have effect on the bottom line, on business profits. Hello, people buy from people. People don't just buy products just because the product is good. People buy from people. And who likes you is as important as how qualified you are. Some people are not able to rise in an organization because they are not liked. And so nobody wants to recommend them for promotion or recommend them for a leadership position. So emotional intelligence is key. So I want to know if I'm being heard. Can I, well, I can't see the charts. Can I see the charts? Can I see the chat? If you can feel me, if you can hear me, I want to see, just drop a number 7. In number 7, I want to get feedback. Okay. Can you drop a number 7 on the chat if you are hearing me, if I'm clear?
Okay.
Oh, okay, thank you. I can see Eunice, I can see Chimeze, I can see PA. Yeah, Grace. Oh, Grace is right on smoothly. Thank you so much. So now let's see, what are the core competencies? You know, I've talked about the perception, using, managing our emotions. Now, we can also look at emotional intelligence from 2 major domains, intrapersonal and interpersonal. Interpersonal with ourselves, our relationship with ourselves, and interpersonal, our relationship with others. So those are where some of the competencies of emotional intelligence are. And I'm going to kind of dwell a bit more on the intrapersonal. So that's where the weight of my talk will rest on. And I'll still talk about interpersonal, but I'll dwell a lot on the intrapersonal. And what I just want to encourage us is that emotional intelligence is not, can be learned, it can be measured. You see, the truth is that we actually have been doing these things at a subconscious level, studying people, understanding people, trying to know, how do I act in this way, what do I say? But what I am hoping to do today is to be able to bring it from our subconscious to our conscious awareness, where we actually consciously develop the skills that we already have and unlearn some bad habits we might have done, and then improve and, you know, own our power and get better. So intrapersonal and interpersonal competencies. Under the intrapersonal, we have self-awareness and self-management. And under the interpersonal, we have social awareness, or we could say empathy, or social skill and social skills, or which we can call relationship skills. Now, my slide is not moving. Okay, so our self-awareness, it all begins with you. Can we unmute our mic and say it with me? It begins with me. I'd like to hear it.
It begins with me.
Yes, so emotional awareness begins with me. It all begins with you. And when we talk about self-awareness, it's about you knowing yourself. It's about you recognizing your own emotions. The question is, how do people experience you? What's going on in your own life? How do people experience you? And how do people experience themselves when they are with you? Are you a pleasant experience, or are you a painful experience to people? Think about it. Are you a pleasant experience? Are you a painful experience? And when we're talking about self-awareness, like I said, it involves emotional awareness. We recognize our own emotions, how it affects us. How is my emotion affecting our performance? Looking at this COVID situation, We left our countries, came as international students, and all of a sudden we are cooped up in our houses. Some of us have not been able to, and we've not been able to use the library. We've not even seen our colleagues face to face. Everything is online. After paying so much fees as international students, and you are sitting there in your house, you are not feeling that experience. How is it affecting your performance? Do you know? How do you feel? Have you thought about it? How is your emotions affecting others? Have you been in a place you just enter the room and you just feel like there's tension. What's happening? Just look. People are not talking, but you can feel that the atmosphere is heavy. How does your emotions affect others? As a mother in the house, you are boning, and the children are like, mommy, what's wrong? Mommy, what's wrong? Everywhere is just tense. Children don't know because you are quarreling with your husband. The children are suffering. How are your emotions affecting others? We have to also think about accurate self-assessment. Do you know your strengths? Do you know your limits? Do you know the triggers? Do you know the things? If you are the type that you find yourself, you get angry easily, your body is used to pepper you. Can you really think, what are my triggers? Do you know your stressors, the things that stresses you and the things you really can't take? And then also we talk about self-confidence. Do you have a strong sense of your self-worth? Do you have a strong sense of your abilities? Do you have a strong sense of your judgment? Do you trust your judgment? It all begins with you. And now, in the comment section, I just want us to list what are some of the types of emotions that we experience? Or can you just share in the comments or in the chat section the current emotions based on this COVID climate as a student? Please share what are some of your emotions concerning the pandemic. Can we share it in the chat? Let me see. Can I see the chat? Yeah, stock. Somebody says stock. Yes. Please, I would like to interact. We are here. We are students. The pandemic. Can you drop in the comment section? How do you feel? How do you feel about what's the emotional atmosphere around? Depressing. Somebody says depressing. Somebody says anxiousness. Yeah. Fears. Yeah. So boring. Yeah, it can be boring being in your house and easily out of options. You feel like you're underachieving. Yeah, you're right. We're all right. Yeah, at times lack of communication, you feel like you're not connecting with people, or even your teacher, they're just teaching. You don't even know whether they know what they can even feel like you're feeling. Unhappy sometimes. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate those honest feedback. You see, our emotions are complex, as I've stated. It's a complex state of feeling, and that results in physical and psychological changes that influence our thought and behavior. And usually our emotions are associated with our temperament, associated with our personality, our mood, and our motivation. And there are various aspects. There are physiological bases, there are neurological brain bases, and also our environment and so on. So it's a whole wide concept. But one thing we should take is that our emotions are complex. And we need to have language for emotions. Sometimes we don't feel something, but you can't place your hand. I don't feel somehow. What is somehow? What is somehow? I don't feel somehow. We should be able to have language for our emotions, because that helps us to, what's that thing? You're just walking and saying, I'm not just okay. I'm not just okay. Back on Yoruba. I'm just feeling somehow. But we need to have language. So let me share with us some of the, I wonder why I'm struggling to move my screen. Okay, now I'll share with us some of the language we can have to express, because it's good to know, psychologists, they have many theories of emotions and many classifications of emotions, but there is this is just one classification by Paul Ekman, where he talks about the basic emotion. Paul Ekman is a psychologist and he's a facial recognitions expert. And he found out that there were like he identified 6 originally, but he says like 5 basic emotions which are universal, which are universally understood across different cultures. And he classified the basic ones as enjoyment, sadness, fear, anger, disgust, and surprise. And these emotions, we can say some are positive and some are negative. And some are they vary in intensity, and some are high energy, like anger. When you're angry, there are some things you will do, the way you move. Well, we scatter everything today. We scatter it. You see the energy. People will be shaking. Anger. And also excitement gives you that same energy. You see people on the football field, everybody say, hey, it's a goal. You see the energy, you feel the pump. And also some are, low energy, like somebody is sad, somebody is grieved, somebody is wounded. And even sometimes somebody's just serene, you're just calm. You're not, so different intensities. But some researchers have argued that basically we shouldn't say any emotion is positive or negative, that these emotions are like data. They are telling us something. They are data, as I defined emotion as a complex state of feeling that results in physical and psychological changes. So consider it as data. But whatever perspective you look at it, you see there are different intensities. So some words we can use to describe some of our emotions, like enjoyment, happiness, love, contentment, relief, amusement, joy, excitement, peace, satisfaction, compassion. So you see this different intensity. We talk about sadness. When somebody is unhappy, it's different from when somebody is hopeless. Yeah, it's different levels of sadness, different intensity on the scale. Gloomy, heartbroken, disappointed. Somebody could be disappointed but not hopeless. But if somebody is hopeless, somebody could be resigned, somebody could be miserable. So this, you have to, let's expand our diction, our language, our vocabulary of our emotions so that we can understand ourselves better. You say fear, are you worried, or are you terrified? Two different levels. I'm just worried about this assignment I have to submit. I'm terrified. Those are two different levels. Somebody could be desperate, confused, stressed, anxious, nervous. If somebody is angry, someone could be annoyed. It's different from if somebody is mad. It's different from if somebody is infuriated. Somebody could be peeved. Well, just pisses me off. You're just peeved. But that's different from when somebody is vengeful, ready to attack. Disgust sounds very strong. You could just dislike something. But it's different from when you loathe an individual or a situation. Someone could be nauseated, disturbed with just. So these are some of the language we can use, to expand our emotional vocabulary. How do we now improve our self-awareness? Because we need to know ourselves. One of the ways we can do it is to actually take some psychometric tests, some of these personality tests, behavioral tests, emotional intelligence tests, different kinds of tests. There are so many online. We have some free ones, some paid ones. There are some that we even do when we are applying for jobs. They make us, before those questions they're asking, they're using it to place us. It's good because they're not perfect. No test is perfect, but it gives us a rough idea of our general patterns of behaviors, our tendencies, our leanings. So those psychometric tests help us to do that. Another way we can improve our self-awareness is the practice of journaling. You see, it's good to spend time to just reflect. You should take time to write. When you journal, you are able to disentangle and the different feelings. You're able to pinpoint. Sometimes you just know that you just feel heavy. By the time you journal, you take time you are able to say, oh, this thing started when I spoke to this person and the way he replied me. And just because the person is my superior, I couldn't reply the person back. I felt powerless to do something. And you're like, okay, this was the real problem. It's not just that you just feel this overarching sense of heaviness that you can't. So journaling is really good. It helps us to make sense of our experience. It also helps us to learn from our experience. And it takes the burden away from your mind. You're able to put it on paper. So you're able to look at it like a third person perspective. You see it and it's no more, your mind is free to utilize the space for active thinking, not just to burden, just to be burdened on the ground. Then another way we can improve our self-awareness is to receive and build on feedback. This is really important. At times your wife will tell you something, your husband will tell you, or even your children, they'll mimic you. They'll tell you something, say, Mommy, why are you always shouting? You're like, am I shouting? You need to receive feedback from your superiors, sometimes formal feedback. when we do some assessment, like as students, like in the University of Aberdeen, as PhD students, we fill our monthly, every 6 months, our progress report. There are feedback on that. You need to receive feedback, and you need to ask for feedback. And please, when you get feedback, resist the urge to explain yourself, to say, yes, but this is why. No, just receive it first and work on it and see what to do. Then we have to consciously monitor our progress, our growth, our development. So we need to really, do it on a conscious level. Now let's talk about self-management. If you are feeling me, I want you to say yes in the chat box. Can I still see the chat box?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. When we talk about self-management, we've talked about self-awareness. You are able to recognize and identify yourself. Now, how do we manage ourselves? How do we regulate our behavior? How do we adjust? How do we adapt? So that's where self-management comes in. How do we control our emotions? When we read at the beginning, the fruit of the spirit, self-control, temperance is a fruit of the spirit. How do we control our emotions? How do we handle distressing situations? How do we handle stressful situations? How can we remain focused and motivated? Even though we've come to, things are not the way we wanted. How do we remain focused and motivated despite the challenging situations? How can we stay adaptable and flexible? That before you were used to going to school, sitting down in class, listening to your lecturer live, and now you have to sit down in your room. You have to learn tools you've never used before. You're having group work with your colleagues you've never met. One is in India, one is in Pakistan, the other one is in Nigeria, the other one is in Glasgow, the other one is in Aberdeen, and they're asking you to do group work. How do you stay adaptable and flexible? How do you remain open to change? These are aspects of self-management. And the thing about self-management is that it fosters trustworthiness, because when people can know that at least you are stable. It's not that they go out with you now, the person is not sure. Maybe as you get to the road, the taxi man just says something. The next thing, you have blown, you have exploded, and they're like, I beg. People will just give you your space because they'll greet you. Hello, hi, yeah. But I don't want to work with this person. I don't want this person on my team because he can just scatter everything. If we're able to manage ourselves, it actually fosters trustworthiness because we are more reliable that way. So how do we enhance our self-management? Of course, the self-awareness is key. And then we need to accept our emotions. We need to just resist that urge. Like I said, we're like negative, positive emotions. In a way, yes, but in another way, you can look at it as emotions as data. Instead of trying to judge your emotion and say, I'm not supposed to be feeling like this, the question is accept it, understand it, reason it. Why? Maybe that person posted something about his success on Facebook and you just feel jealous. Instead of you to just say, no, I just envy the person. If you feel jealous, tell yourself, I feel jealous about this person. Then ask yourself, but why? Is it reflecting my own weakness? Maybe I've not been doing, I've not been doing my work well, or is it because it makes me feel bad, or do I feel like he doesn't deserve it? You need to just process. So accept your emotions. Believe that you can change. We need to, for us to really improve our self-management, we need to have a growth mindset. You need to believe that you can change. If you say, well, this is how I am, nobody can change me. This is how I am. That's how I've been since I was small. If you cannot, anybody that cannot accept me, if you can't take me as I am, you just leave me. Okay, we will leave you. But if you believe you can change, you know that you can work on yourself. Another key thing you need to look at is to change our physiology. Hello, have you had a good night's sleep? Some of us are sleeping 3 hours, 4 hours, either because maybe we are working, or sometimes we are watching movies till late in the night. You've not slept well. And the next thing, your body is pepping. Any small thing, have you slept well? Sometimes your main problem is that you need to sleep soundly. And then you wake up and this is not as hard as I even said, though. Then another thing about changing your breathing. There are relaxation techniques that involve breathing. taking deep, maybe you feel you want to have a presentation like now, and you're not feeling anxious. Take a deep breath. You hold your breath. You release it out slowly. You talk to yourself. You calm down. Breathing. So there are relaxation techniques, because everything is connected, our emotions, mind, body. So you can change your body and change your emotions. Then exercise. Exercise releases endorphins that relieve your stress, your natural stress relievers. Take exercise. Sometimes you just need to carry your body and leave your house. Walk. Let the cold air in Aberdeen blow on your head small. Sometimes you need to pour cold water on your body. Let it just wake you up. Sometimes you need to run. You need to jog. You need to jump inside water, swim. Sometimes you just need to do an exercise. You need to get out. Sometimes you just need to do something different from your regular, just to break that chain. And meditation. You need quiet time. You just can't be moving from back to back, just walking 5 days a week, 6 days a week. You're just walking. You don't have time to be with yourself. You don't have time to think, to stay quietly, to ruminate. So these are things that can change your physiology. These are just one. If you have any other one, you can drop in the comments ways of changing your physiology. Then another thing you can think about, disciplining your disappointment. I heard this phrase from Tony Robbins in one of his adverts, discipline your disappointment. To be honest, like we know that the current situation we are in is not what many of us planned for. And it's easy to be disappointed. I've interacted with people who told me that they feel like they were cheated coming as international students at this time. They feel that they're not getting the full experience of what their international studentship should offer. And they feel disappointed. They're just wondering, did I make a mistake? Besides that, I don't know, maybe PhD students in the house or those who have had, I don't know if there's any PhD students that did not get to a point in time in their work and they ask and say, who sent me? Why did I? Somebody told me, I don't even know why I resigned my work and left my high-paying job and came for PhD. I don't even know if it's worth it. Sometimes when you meet setback, you need to discipline your disappointment. You need to acknowledge and accept it, but you need to also, just discipline your disappointment and take the next steps. Establishing boundaries. You just need to know some things you can take and some things you can't take. Establishing boundaries. There are some people, when you connect with them, the way they talk you down, you may need to just get them out of your life. Establishing boundaries. Sometimes you just need to say no. The load is too much. You just need to say no. Say, thank you, I really appreciate, but not now. It could be a no. It could be, I'll get back to you later, or maybe not now, some other time. Different line, but no is a complete sentence. We also need to be willing to learn new mindsets and new skills. If you've not been very good at using the computer, now you are doing everything online, you'll be willing to learn. We should be open to mentorship and coaching. And I'm telling you, despite the fact that school is online, you can still have mentorship. If you're a master's student, can you find a PhD student in that your field whom you can, discuss your work with? As a PhD student, besides your supervisor, can you connect with other researchers in your field? Okay, so like for example, when I was doing my PhD, apart from my supervisors, I had my advisor who provided like pastoral support. I used to go to him sometimes if I'm stuck in my work. And interestingly, he's the first person who taught me how to use R, because I just went to him, I was stuck in some analysis, and I joined his undergraduate class. I sat in through, I only didn't do the exam, but I went to all the lectures, did all the labs, and did everything. Mentorship, coaching. We should be willing to practice, because this thing, the song I asked Brother Onoja to play, which I hope he has gotten ready, is titled Unfinished by Mandisa. You see, we may not be perfect in these things, but we are working it out. We need to be ready to practice new behavior. And, at times you just need to be patient, respond, do not react. Someone might come and say something before you join, you just want to spark. Calm down, respond, do not react. Besides that, smile. Hello, how many of us are on videos? I want to see our smiles. Smile. Smile. I can see Brother Yakubu. I can see Sister Chimeze. But I cannot see your face. Smile. You see, a smile is recognized in any culture. Sometimes you just need to smile. Just smile, first of all. It will calm down the tension. So smile. It will even relax your facial muscles. Then, we need to seek community, especially now. Please don't stay alone. The G-Light Ambassadors is a great community to join. For research students or even lecturers in Aberdeen, we have the Nigeria Research Group, where researchers from even within and outside Aberdeen, we come together, you have presentations, connect. Professional memberships are there. The student activities, all those teams, join a team, say Microsoft Teams in your whatever platform you use, join something. Get out of yourself, and you need to seek community. Don't die in silence, please. If you know somebody that is struggling, if you can't help the person, connect the person, seek community. We need to speak right words. You see, when you speak right words, it's also part of the way you build your self-confidence. You talk to your self-talk, you talk to yourself well. Be kind to yourself. Stop abusing yourself. I just do stupid. Everything, it's only me. Everybody's better. No, talk to yourself with kindness. The thing you cannot allow somebody to tell you, don't tell yourself that. Respect yourself. So we need to speak right words, speak affirmations. I'm a child of the King. The hand of God is upon my life. I know who I am. Success is my portion. You speak confidently, speak right words. Take up new roles and challenges. I'm the shy type. Yes, you are the shy type. The next group assignment, can you be the group leader? Take up new roles, take up new challenges, volunteer, and therapy. Hello, everybody. Hello. Can I hear hello back? Hello, unmute yourself. Hello.
Hello. Yakubu here.
Hello. So, let's be
honest. Hello.
Kabari, I can see you. That's from Teesside University. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. There are some situations, our experience, we are from different backgrounds. We've had different experiences. There are some issues, smiling cannot solve it. Just praying by yourself alone cannot solve it. Sometimes you need a professional to help you to walk through. If you are dealing with difficult emotional challenges, maybe due to some traumatic events in your past, or even ongoing chronic trauma. Some trauma are just acute, they just happen. Maybe somebody was involved in an accident, and anytime you just hear, you start shaking, and you've had any history of maybe abuse or whatever. But please, even whether you're a Christian, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to ask for help. So there are some times you might need therapy, or you just find that you are angry. You are just full of anger. You've prayed, you believe you are born again. You've even prayed for sanctification. Pray. But this anger will not go. Sometimes you need to untangle, where did this anger come from? Why am I so filled with anger? Sometimes you might need a therapist to be able to walk you through. What happened? Are you mad at the fact that your father left you guys when you were small, and you are mad at your father, but you can't even seem to express, and every other person you're angry? So these other things, those are special cases you might need to walk through. So those are ways too. Now, let's breathe. Take a deep breath. Put your hands on your stomach. Now take a deep breath. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale gently. Okay, let's relax. I hope I'm not too fast. Am I too fast?
No, you're not. You're just perfect.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we go to the next domain. I said we had the intrapersonal and we had the interpersonal. So we go to the next one, the interpersonal, where I talked about social awareness and social skills. So social awareness. Now, I don't think there was anybody as socially aware as our great Apostle Paul. That's what he used to say in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 20 to 22. He says, and to the Jews, I became as a Jew, that I might win Jews. To those who are under the law, as under the law, that I might win those who are under the law. To those who are without the law, as without the law, not being without the law towards God, but under law towards Christ, that I might win those who are without law. To the weak, I became as weak, that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. That was a socially aware man. And little wonder why his ministry was successful. Little wonder why God could trust him to reach the Gentiles, even though he was a Jew, even though he was a Pharisee of Pharisees, even though he was a Roman by pedigree, a Roman by citizenship, by birth. He was able to reach other people in Ephesus, in different, because he understood the context. When he was at a certain place, he said, I'm in a city, he said, oh, I saw that here you put something to the unknown God. That unknown God is the one I came to present to you. It is in him we live, it is in him we move, it is in him we have our being. This guy was socially aware. He understood context, he understood culture, social awareness. When we talk about social awareness, it's really about empathy, putting yourself in the other person's shoes. It's about considering how are others thinking. It's about cross-cultural sensitivity. You know, we are not from the same family backgrounds and cultural. We are international students or internationals here for most of us. There is a local culture. We came with our own culture. So cross-culture, are we sensitive? It's about valuing differences. It's about inclusiveness. When you organize a program, when you design an app, are you thinking of the people who may be blind or somebody who cannot hear? Are you thinking in your business, whatever, are you considering that? Are you able to make your business to adapt to people with special needs? Inclusiveness, empathy, organizational awareness. Do you know the power players? You know, at times it's so easy we get into an environment, and you know, even this particular organizational awareness, I'm actually trying to grow myself in it, because sometimes we just go into a place, we just breathe in, we just carry our head up, I'm a child of God, hallelujah. You don't know the power brokers in the house. The fact that somebody is a boss does not necessarily mean he's the power broker in that place. There might be silent influencers. Do you know who are do you know the politics of where you are? Man is a political, you know, is a political organism. So it's about service. It's about listening without judgment. It's about finding a common ground. So like they usually say, the things that bind us together are more than the things that separate us. It's about finding a common ground. It's how do you articulate criticism? Are you a forever critic that cannot see any good thing? Or even if you see, can you, you know, and this is some of the training lecturers are giving, even when you're giving feedback to students. You don't just come and say, your work is rubbish. You fail my class. Some of us have had that experience with some of our lecturers back home. All of you will fail. No, you're able to give constructive feedback. How do you articulate criticism? Somebody said something. Most people attribute this saying to Maya Angelou, but they say it was Carl Buena who said, people may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Please be a pleasant experience. Some of us will be praying, oh God, send me my helper. Send me. Your helper does not have to be someone that is bigger than you. God told Elijah, I have prepared a widow woman to sustain you. Your helper may be the gate man at the door. Treat people right. People will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. If you make somebody feel small, they will always have it at the back of their mind, this guy. So, social skills. We talk about relationship skills. Basically, that's what social skills are. So how are we managing, proficiency in managing relationships? In building networks. Proficiency, how do you inspire people? How do we maintain rapport? Can you have friends among your colleagues in the office, or are you just always, you just enter the office, everything strong, don't go to your seat, I'm born again. I don't mix with the world. I'm separated from the world. I don't greet anybody. You see, I'm a child of God. Heaven is my home. Heaven is my home. I don't care about people on the world. Heaven is my home. Hello to heaven. Hello. In heaven, we will not need your computer skills in heaven. We will not need your marketing business in heaven. We will not need your lectureship in heaven. Please, can you deal with us on earth very well? Maintaining rapport. How do you articulate enthusiasm for shared goals? So what are some key competencies in social skills that we need to think about, that we need to build? Communication, effective communication, effective listening, active listening, listening without bias, listening not just to be heard, not just to be preparing the next reply, but really listening. You know, you want to understand first and then be understood. Team building, perception management. Perception management. Can you know, this is usually very important when they're talking about branding. How do you want to be known? You know, do you know how people perceive you? Can you manage your perception? If you want to appear as somebody that is reliable, can you be reliable consistently? Can you say what are the 3 qualities that people in my field, the field want how, and then you begin to mold yourself, behave in those ways so that people perceive you that way. Conflict management, there will always be differences. Offenses will arise. How do we manage it? You're a PhD student, you're a supervisor. You believe that I have read, I'm the expert on this field, I know more than all these old men. This is the procedure I want to use, and your supervisor says, I am the boss. This is what I want. How are you going to manage it? Negotiation, influence, leadership, networking. Those are some of the skills. And I just want you to know that networking is not about exchanging phone numbers. It's about connecting with people for mutual benefits. And in looking for jobs now, one of the key things they're saying is that who you know is as important as what you know. In fact, in some cases, it is even more important because you can be brilliant, but if nobody knows you, if nobody introduces you, if nobody's going to speak on your behalf. So networking is key. Even in this pandemic, people are getting jobs using networking. So how do we improve am I seeing comments? Let me see. Okay, 5 minutes left. Okay. Well, let's see. Improving our social awareness and skill. You need to develop a genuine interest in people, and as I said, seek to understand and not just be understood. You need to study the impact of your behavior, of your speech. When you talk to people, look at reactions. Don't just talk. Clarify expectations with all stakeholders. You have, as a PhD student or as a master's student, you have a project to do. Understand expectations, the timelines, clarify expectations. Because what causes conflict that we are talking from these different pages on the same matter, but we are looking at different data sources. We need to expand our world. The world is bigger than your tribe. The world is bigger than your church. The world is bigger than. Expand your experience of the world. Travel, let pandemic go. As you are here in the UK, go for conference. Go for conference outside, go for conference in other schools. Museums, how many of us have visited the museums in Aberdeen? Maritime Museum, toll booths, different visits, music, art, expand, nature. Stretch beyond your comfort zones, as I've said, take initiative, and then also feedback. My screen move. Right words create right feelings. So now I would like to end on a point, the spirit advantage. You see all this that I've been saying, psychological principles, this, but hello, I am talking to G-Light ambassadors, Deeper Life Campus Fellowship. The people who know their God shall be strong and do exploits. Some of these things, we can't do it in our power. The Bible says it is God who works in us. He works in me, both to will and to do his good pleasure. He gives you the desire and the power to do what pleases him. So the question is, do you know that God? Because if you don't have the God factor, the spirit advantage, which gives you, your identity in Christ as a child of God. You know that you're a royal priesthood, a holy nation. You know the word of his power. What has God said about you? You have the spirit of grace, the spirit of Christ, the spirit of knowledge, the spirit of understanding, the spirit of peace. We can learn from Bible characters. We see how David was able to work with a difficult boss called Saul. We can learn. Look at Joseph. He understood the law of protocol. He knew that you cannot go to see the king with fully, he shaved when he came out of the prison. He said, I'm just coming from prison. I know the dream. I can interpret the dream. No, he understood interpersonal relationships, understood protocol. He got to the king, shaved, washed, and got in and interpreted the dream. The spirit advantage. I want us to really know that you have that advantage and begin to leverage your advantage as a believer in Christ Jesus. And if you're not born again, hello, you are missing out. You are missing out big time. You need to join the company of those who know their God by giving your life to Jesus Christ, because he gives you power and you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So in conclusion, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. What you feed your mind is very important. And scriptures have told us for us to have a sound mind, a sound behavior. God has told us what to do, the things we should think about. And those are the things that will affect your emotions. So I have ways you can connect with me by Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. These are some great materials, bibliography, some books, some video resources, very, very lovely courses you can take on Coursera, leadership and emotional intelligence. You need to watch YouTube, look at Kalahari's talking about tools to maximize your success. You can take the emotional stability workshop. The Coursera course for students is free. For emotional stability workshop is free. And there's many psychometric tests. I just put a link to some of them. And thank you so much for listening. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. That was wonderful, insightful, and that was power-packed. And personally, I enjoyed it. I don't know if any other person enjoyed it as much as I did. Maybe I enjoyed it the most, I can say. Emotional intelligence, you gave us so much details about it, told us about the interpersonal, the personal, Yeah, so if I go through everything I jotted down just now, I'm sure I'll be repeating your message. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So we're going into our question and answer time just now. If anyone has got any question for our speaker today, please either pop it in the chat box or unmute yourself, please. Okay, I can see one hand raised. Any other person? Okay, while we pick the first person, if you got any question, either you put it in the chat box or raise your hand. I think that raise hand function is there. Okay, the first person, Brother Yakubu.
They are calling this Brother Yakubu. People listening would think we are coming from different places.
Yeah, I was waiting to hear what you will say. I was waiting to hear what you will say.
You just remind me of my Bamiloye. The wife cannot just say, dear, or
okay, Brother Yakubu.
Brother Yakubu.
Okay, say, okay, bro. Okay, bro. Ask a question, bro. Right. You see, my pastor is there. My pastor has said you couldn't even put doctor.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
Apologies, Dr. Yakubu.
All right. So has really done a great job, and I wasn't expecting anything less. I think she blew my mind. And now I have lots of questions. We obviously will have to talk on some things later. You see, I'm going to ask more practical questions. You see, you really made emphasis. Oh no. Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So talking about, it's not just about what you know, but who you know. And I watched a tech talk that the woman said something like that there are some persons in the inner room, in the power room, that takes this decision. Now, as somebody was discussing a couple of months ago, he was meant to be promoted at work. He had done the interview. He knew he was going to, the people in the panel, he was cool with them, they were going to allow him. But when his immediate boss in a different location, a big company with different offshore locations, when the particular offshore location where he was supposed to go to another location where he will be promoted. So His immediate manager, where he is just now, got to know that, okay, this person working under him is going somewhere. Apparently, he and that man, they are not in the best of relationship. The man has another person that they are best of relationship. So he went ahead and spoke to those in hierarchy higher than those that did the interview, and said that, no, this guy cannot go. This guy has not stayed for a particular number of years. This is another person that has lasted longer in the company, and that is the one that would go for the higher position in a different location. And the people that interviewed this man really couldn't do much because he is higher and he has gone to meet those higher than them. In a work scenario, how would somebody manage things like that when you think you're good for this, you've passed this stage, but somebody else just go behind the back and made it impossible for you, and you're just stuck where you were? How can somebody, and you have to work with this man, mind you, every 5 weeks you work with this same manager that you know is the one that hindered your progress. You still report to him. You still see him every 5 weeks when you go to work. How best can one manage such relationship without seeing the man as a devil every day?
I think I would like our pastor to answer that question. Pastor Israel, please, can you help us with the answer?
Dr. Mary, I'm not a doctor now.
No, just want to glean from your wealth of experience.
Yeah, I think what our brother asks is a very important question. One thing we need to know about life is that in life, you get to work with a lot of people, you get to interact with a lot of people, and hope you can all hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is one of the things that is being emphasized even in the workplace industry now, the ability to work with people, no matter their preferences, no matter their background, no matter their comportment. So I think what we need to do in such instance, we've just learned about emotional intelligence. Yeah, one, we should not let that get into our emotion, because one thing about us, especially we who are from our side, we are emotional beings. That's just the truth. We're emotional beings. So a lot of things we just allow to get into our emotions. And once something gets into your emotion, it will definitely affect your perspective of the other person. And that's one of the things we've learned today. So what we need to do in such instance, one, take emotion out of it, but it's really difficult for people like us that things like this does not get to affect our emotion, right? So one, you want to deal with that individual on the level of, on a professional level, which is what is expected of in the workplace industry. You do your bit, you do your own aspect professionally. And not only that, we have what the world don't really have, and that's the weapon of prayer as well. We can also pray about it and commit it to the Lord in prayers and let the Lord fight the battle for us. We've had testimonies of people that work with difficult bosses in time past, managers in time past, that even sat on their promotion. That even say, "Oh, as long as I'm here, you will not get this promotion." But with prayers and with that individual doing his best for the company, you just found out that that manager was redeployed, and the new person that came in saw the file of that person, saw his performance, and saw his record, and found out that why have you not been promoted? And that's how that our beloved brother was promoted. Not just one, not just two. So we've had such instances. So what I'm saying that in cases like this, we need to ensure that our emotional thing is not affected. We take away emotion and just be professional in whatever thing we are doing. and allow God to guide us. But I think those will be what I will just answer to this question. I don't know if that is right.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Does that seem to answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And I just want to also add that at times we also need to, take time. You need to, when you face such things, you need to begin to be very sensitive about documentation. With such people, you keep records. We keep records of your conversation, your emails. If you make a request and they are stalling you, you keep record, because there are times you might need those records to speak for you. And we also have to make sure that there's no loophole, that there are bank, or maybe there is a weakness or there is something wrong. So one will just have to look at oneself. And if it's possible if there is a chain of communication that one can, decide to discuss, to know, maybe for example with the panel, to say, why was I not taking, get an official feedback on why. Although from the grapevines, you might have known that this guy, but they might have an official, so you just kind of find the official feedback of why and see what to work on. It's really a tough case, but thank God we have the spirit advantage as believers. And at the end of the day, all things will work together for good for those who love God.
Thank you very much. Our time is running very fast. So we'll have Sister Grace, please. Let's unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay. My question is the place of forgiveness, self-forgiveness and forgiving others and all this, especially in an informal environment, because if it's a place of work, you could just deal with the person or with the situation, with policies and what about in a community or in places where we don't necessarily have policies guiding the way we behave? What's the place of forgiveness, like forgiving yourself or past things, or forgiving somebody else in the way we handle our emotions? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think forgiveness is key. We cannot, we can't chalk it out. It's not just a religious language. Forgiveness. In forgiveness, you acknowledge the hurt. You know that you were offended. It's not like you are minimizing the hurt, but you refuse to give that hurt power. Because for you to stay angry with somebody, you have to keep thinking about the issue, keep thinking about it to fuel the anger, but you let go your desire for judgment, your desire to punish the person, you release it. So sometimes it might be difficult, but if you start with first saying, just letting go that desire to punish, to make the person pay at all costs, it helps us to move forward and even to forgive ourselves. That's why I said having that emotional language, looking at our different emotions. Sometimes you just need to tell yourself that I've made a mistake. It was based on the information I had as at the time, where you are now, you know more than what you knew yesterday. And there are some things you might have done based on your knowledge as at that time. To be able to forgive yourself and say, well, I have come this far. I am now a better person, or I am going to be a better person. And you move forward from there. No need to keep beating yourself down, because to make you lose your confidence. So forgiveness, I think, is really paramount.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
There's a question written here. Is there such thing as overthinking? How can one control personal thinking session from becoming worrying session? I will tie that, brother. I'll not just question as well. So could you unmute yourself, sir, please?
Yeah, my question is, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something. It's a video I saw. I'll just share it if you don't mind. Just 2 minutes. Because you were saying something about trying to be sensitive in this world. Well, let me just show you this video of this man trying to be sensitive, and at the end, joined by a member of the Chinese community as I apologize for using the phrase Chinese.
attention to the truth. I completely understand why they went. I'm delighted to be joined by a mental health campaigner to witness my apology for using the phrase they've got mental psychiatry supplies that I'm apologizing. All of the days when getting apologies means like getting fired out of bed. I would like to apologize to the largest Aberdonian community, the Aberdonians. I understand that Aberdonian feelings are important. Surprise, actually, the time diversity officer didn't make that clear to me. Obviously, sometimes the ideas in the blind. I would like to apologise to Scotland's blind community. I hear your concerns. I promise you, it will not fall on deaf ears. I would like to apologise. I would like to say sorry. And that's what I'm saying. I apologise, I reserve the right to all the epileptics of Scotland by using the word fit. I completely understand why you're being involved. I would like to apologise to anyone that connected with bees or the wider bee. Bees indeed are a vital part of society. I try my best to get to that statement that would offend anyone. I really think. But when me and my advisors get together, honestly, it's like two Paul men fighting a call. I would like to apologise to Scotland's all the community. Apologise for that. For my crew,
I think it's a
No,
satire.
yeah. You see, this is just a classical example of the kind of society we live in. How can you really find this balance?
Well, I think we can just, number one, we first of all, have an open mind, first of all. Because if you go with the mind that there's nothing I can do, I cannot please everybody. First of all, we have an open mind. I think if we are authentic, people will see the authenticity in us, even if one makes a honest mistake while, handling things. So like, for example, in one of the manuscripts I was doing some to the obesity journal, there were some words that, like, instead of saying obese people or obese people, we say people with obesity. Now that's the same, description, but in a less attacking manner. So the way we use our words is important. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you are not everybody's cup of tea. You may not be able to please everybody. There are some people that will still be your tribe, that will still be your people, that will still listen to you, and there's some people that will not listen to you. But you just be authentic, be real, and try to. That's the way I can see it. I think if we are honest and authentic, people will see that honesty outplay. And if we make a genuine mistake, we can then reach out. But I think that was just supposed to be a satire, like saying you apologize to everything, you are trying to be inclusive, and you can't, please everybody. I get the joke the joke or the satire in the video. Then concerning overthinking, like that sister Tony asked about, well, it's possible to overthink. And I shared something recently that I consider myself a matter, like a classic matter, default setting a matter. So that when Jesus said matter, that are troubled about many things. But one thing is most. So some of us, by our personality, our temper, we tend to be easy. Some of us are easy warriors. We tend to worry about so many things. So it's possible to overthink. But once we know that, we can catch ourselves when we start worrying. One of the ways I'm doing now to help myself with worry is to consciously and deliberately start my day with gratitude and end with gratitude. It looks like a simple thing, but now being not just to say thank you, God, but for me to really say, these are the things I am thankful for. So when I start getting to that worry mode, I quickly catch myself back to say, to know, to really check, because it's my focus. What's causing my worry at that time is what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on the problem. I'm focusing on how. Then once I can calm down, I can also break down and identify what exactly is causing my worry, like where the journaling comes in, self-reflection. I can then say, what can I do about it? If it's something I can solve, or if it's steps I need to take, maybe it's a project I can break it down to smaller steps and see. And if it's a decision I need to make, sometimes you just have to make the decision with the level of information you have, not just waiting for things to be perfect, because there'll be no perfect time. But we can all grow and improve on it. So that's just one of the few tips I can give about, handling the worry challenge. There are many more, but I think that can just help.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you everyone who asked questions. That question was from Sister Blessing. I just forwarded it to you.
Oh, okay.
So thank you to our speaker. I believe we have a question for the day. Are you a painful experience or are you a pleasant experience? This came during the teaching. So it's a question you ask yourself when you're in your home or in your private setting. I don't know how to explain that better than that. Okay, so thank you everyone for participating. We really appreciate your time. Apologies, we've gone over this, but I'm sure you've seen from our announcement, we want to take a very short 1 minute group photograph, if that's okay. If you wouldn't mind to pop on your camera, please, and just give us a smiley face. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Yeah.
Can you give us our music?
Okay, yeah. So while we are listening to our music, please pop on your camera, and I'm just going to take a group photograph right here and now. Okay, smiley face, everyone. Are we all ready? I'll just count. Smiley face, everyone. So we're all going to share. Ready? 3, 2, 1, cheese.
Can you hear the music?
Yes, we can. Thank you. One more time. And it got me so down. But I picked myself back up and I started telling me, no, my God's not done making me a masterpiece. He's still working on me. He started something good and I'm gonna believe it. He started something good, he's gonna complete it. So I celebrate the truth. His work in me ain't through. I'm just unfinished. Just unfinished. So I celebrate the truth. His work in me ain't through. I'm just unfinished. I know it's history and the kind of God he is. He might make it a mystery, but he's proven I can trust him. Enjoy your music. So I can pick myself back up and keep on telling me, no, my God's not done making me a masterpiece. No, my God's not done. He started something good and I'm gonna believe it. He started something good and he's gonna complete it. So I celebrate the truth. His work in me right through. I'm just unfinished.
Thank you so much.
I'm just unfinished. So I celebrate the truth. His work in me right through. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Blessing. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Chinezie. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Anoja. Thank you, Kabari from T-Side, my university.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.